ounces, just 2 ounces is equivalent to 3 joints.
Is it? What kind of joints are you smoking? Well, that was Minnesota Republican Warren Limmer, AKA Chief Keef 2.0, who is either woefully ignorant about things having to do with the legislation he is voting on, or he's just the country's biggest pothead who likes to roll the largest joints in existence. I'm gonna guess that it's the former, not the latter. But nonetheless, he was on the Senate floor arguing against a bill that would ease some restrictions on recreational marijuana in the state of Minnesota. Here's some information about the proposal. Republicans voted against the state Senate's efforts to legalize recreational marijuana via bills that would allow residents 21 years and older to buy up to 2 ounces of cannabis flower specifically, 8 grams of concentrate or 800 milligrams of edible products, and would let adults grow up to 8 cannabis plants at home. But during his comments on the bill, Limmer, the Republican lawmaker here, seemed to get his calculations just a little wrong. So let's watch.
It says any person can have 8 plants at home. Now, I've seen some of the videos of DEA raids. Some of these plants are 8 and 10 feet tall. You can have 8 of them. You can have a privacy fence made of these products in your backyard. 2 ounces, just 2 ounces is equivalent to 3 joints. And you can possess up to, what is it, a 1.5 pounds? 1.5 pounds you can hold.
Sexual temptation.
Let me just say, the idea of using marijuana plants as a privacy fence is genius. And so thank you for that, Mr. Limmer. I will definitely consider that if and when I own a home one day. But Cenk, we'll get to what 2 ounces of weed actually looks like and how insane his argument was there. But before we do, any initial thoughts?
Yeah, I love boomers doing political speeches. So I love it when they talk about the internet, a series of tubes no one can understand, okay? And when they talk about weed, he's like, imagine a fortress of weed. Like, that sounds really good. And so I don't know all the ounce stuff. But people had a
I don't know all the ounce stuff.
Okay, I don't know. Speaking about boomers, right? Okay, but did you notice that when he said the 2 ounces equals 3 joints, there was like a murmur in the legislature. I don't know. That's what I heard. I'm not positive, but I think that a lot of people are like, "Oh, this guy doesn't know pot at all." Right?
Yeah,
a lot of folks in favor of it apparently, and it is going to pass, if you will.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So look. First, let's give you the text version of how insane this is, and then we're gonna help you visualize how insane this is, because it's important to know that 2 ounces does not translate into 3 joints unless literally you're rolling the biggest joints ever. So some reporters did the math for us, so I'm gonna read from Forbes. 2 ounces equals about 56.7 grams. If that were to equal 3 joints, then you'd be packing approximately 18.9 grams of marijuana into a joint. That would be over 37 times the 0.5 grams or half a gram average amount of marijuana per joint that the United States Office of National Drug Control Policy uses as an average. Okay, but it actually is more extreme than that. Okay, so it depends on what you're referencing as your source here. 18.9 grams would be over 59 times the 0.32 gram average weight of marijuana in a joint, determined by a study conducted at the University of Pennsylvania and published in Drug and Alcohol Dependence. Now, a lot of people had fun with this. Let me just help you guys visualize what the different measurements of marijuana flower looks like. So there you see at the very beginning 1 gram, so tiny amount. Half an ounce is significantly larger, but once you get to 1 ounce, like imagine using 1 ounce of pot for just 3 joints, right? Like you see the joints next to the 1 ounce right there. It's just crazy. And here are better visuals, okay? This is my favorite tweet on the matter. Let's take a look, there we go. Driving up to the dispensary, I'll take a 1 ounce joint, please. It's like gigantic.
I watch more of the speeches. And look, man, like in this case, it's Minnesota. It's mainly Democrats in Minnesota. They're gonna pass it anyway. But almost all the Republicans are against it because they're from the 1800s. The polling now shows you that not only is a huge percentage of the country in favor of it, but a huge percentage of Republicans are in favor. Republican voters are in favor of it. But no, the politicians take like decades to catch up. So there was a guy giving a speech about, there was 5 overdose deaths just this week.
Of marijuana?
I was like, wait, what? No, there aren't. Right?
Come on, guys.
There's no overdose deaths from marijuana.
Do better.
But no, I know. He started the speech that way, and like a minute later, he was like, and I've been around a long time and I know marijuana is a gateway drug.
No, but guys.
But it isn't.
No, in fact, let me just say, marijuana is the anti-gateway drug, okay? Because marijuana is a relatively harmless way to numb the pain of living in this freaking country. Without it, I would venture to say more people would turn to harder and more dangerous drugs that could in fact lead to overdoses.
Well, not only that, Anna, these are oftentimes the same politicians that pushed OxyContin on us. Because drug companies give tons of money to politicians, and then all of a sudden the government said, oh yeah, go ahead, take this legalized heroin. It'll help you with your pain and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's the
ticket. Send me the check. There's some of the biggest drug deals in America, and you want to talk about a gateway drug. Well, first of all, OxyContin by itself is a massive drug, way worse than marijuana. But second of all, it's the biggest gateway drug in American history, leading straight to heroin, let alone the meth and all the other things that it has spawned. So, and him saying, I've been around a long time. Again, not the own that he thinks it is. Yeah, right. That's why you're stuck in time when Americans believe the nonsense that Richard Nixon started with his war on drugs. Oh my God, it's gonna kill you instantly if you do any of it. Some hard drugs are awful and you should be super careful about them. But mixing them up with Coors Light or a joint doesn't help the situation.
No, it does not.